Okay, the Monday class we will compensate it later, and okay, that will be compensated in the due course. Don't worry about that. For today's class, what we are going to see is oligo. Last class we have discussed about various types of markets. No, I want to recall it: monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic, and perfect competitions. These are all the different types of markets that we discussed in the last class. And I have asked one question, and Ramakrishnan also has responded to the question before the sessions. Before completing the session, I have asked the questions: the media houses or the media industry firms comes under which type of market? And he has responded monopolistic market. Then I said I will justify, and once the class is over, then you can reconsider by giving your response, I said. Okay, as we have seen many types of market, it's a perfect competition. As we discussed, that is there in the academics. So in practice there is no any such type of market can be seen in practicals. Okay, so monopoly, single, and monopolistic, it's an imperfect competition. And the oligopoly, it's also an imperfect competition, where oligopoly is the few sellers, and monopolistic, the product are homogeneous. Okay, so let me coming to the point. Our media describing all these characteristics of each and every market types, our media can be fitted into this oligopoly market because of there are few sellers, which ranges between 2 to 10. The telecom service providers and some service manufacturers like cement, okay, these sort of players, firms, which are restricted to range between 2 to 10 comes under this oligopoly market. Likewise, our media will also comes under this oligopoly market. And for today's class, we will see the oligopoly market and its characteristics. So the outcome of or the expectation and the objective of today's class is, after completion of this session, you will learn about oligopoly market definition and its characteristics, and what is the concept of oligopoly. Okay. So introducing oligopoly market. Oligopolistic market, you have few sellers. However, there is no restriction on the number of buyers. You may have any number of buyers. So this is again a case wherein you are decreasing the number of sellers. That is imperfect competition. There is no restriction in terms of buyers, only in terms of sellers. There were many sellers in the monopolistic competitions and many buyers, but here the case is little different, where many number of buyers and the what you say, restricting the number of sellers, that is imperfect competition. Number of sellers generally it ranges between 2 to 10, at the maximum 12, because there is no any prescribed numbers. So that's why we are mentioning about the range. So it ranges between 2, 10, or 12. It's a few sellers. So manufacturers or maybe some telecom service providers, there are not many service providers as far as the telecom. And I also said the story of how the telecom service has been provided when these cellular companies have introduced their service. I said no, GSM and CDMA, based on the technology, only few operators or service providers were allowed in the states to provide their service. I said about 3 GSM and 2 CDMA. That time I said Reliance and Tata Indicom were the CDMA players, and the Aircel, Airtel, and Vodafone. Okay, later it changed to Hutch, Vodafone. Now they changed. Now there are many players. They have increased the number of players. I said that story. So there are only few sellers in the market, but there are many takers for their products. There are many buyers in the market. The general overview about the various competitions are some examples about them. So oligopoly describes a situation when there are only a few sellers in a market, but some competition exists for the products because of the many number of takers. The products either homogeneous or differentiated products. So as I said, no, in perfect competition, the products are homogeneous. As we discussed, stated the example of food grains or food groceries like potatoes, tomato shop. So here the products either homogeneous or differentiated. Oligopoly is the most common type of market structure that media firms operate in. So in our country like India, the market of media firms comes under this oligopoly structure, which is the most common type of market. The origin of oligopoly is defined as a small number of firms having significant influence in the market. So the meaning of oligopoly is competition among the few. We can name it as a competition among the few. An oligopoly is an industry which is dominated by a few firms. If you take it, for example, the DTH service providers, the competition is among only few firms, and it is dominated by few firms like Sundirect, Tata Sky, Videocon, Airtel. So in this market, there are few firms which sell homogeneous or differentiated products. So here what they mean by products is the packages or the delivery of contents, television or broadcasting contents. Also, there are few sellers in the market. Every seller influences the behavior of other firms. This is an important point in oligopoly. Every seller, for example, Airtel or Tata Sky, or no, the every seller has an influence on the behavior of the other firms because they will change their behavior by getting influence from these firms, and other firms influence it. Oligopoly is either perfect or imperfect or differentiated. Why this has to be? No, oligopoly is imperfect competition because of the product is homogeneous or differentiated product. So in India, some examples of a oligopolistic market are automobiles, only few sellers, cement, steel, aluminum, or and any resources, and our media also. So, and it's coming to the characteristic. Are you clear with the definition of oligopoly? As in the Greek word, no, olig means few, polein means selling. Olig means few and poly means selling. So oligopoly. So in India, the examples of some manufacturers like cement, automobiles, industry, and obviously the media firms operate in this type of market structure mostly that suits our country. Now we will see the characteristics of oligopoly. What are the characteristics and what are the features of oligopoly, and we will relate it to the media industry. Now oligopoly definition is clear. Now we will look into the characteristics. It's a few firms. Under oligopoly, there are few large firms. The exact number of firms is undefined. There is severe competition because since each firm produces a significant portion of the total output. As I said, the total output means the total service provided, the total content that has been delivered for the users, that is the buyers, is there will be a huge severe competition, and the total output relies on the each and every seller, that is the service provider, have a significant contribution or portion for the total output because of few firms. The second is barriers to entry. So in perfect competition, there is no any barriers. That was the first type of market. Here in oligopoly, under oligopoly, a firm can earn a super normal profit in the long run because there are barriers to entry like patents, licensing, control over getting government regulations. So there are certain barriers for new firm. So these barriers prevent the entry of new firms into the industry. So this because of these barriers, any firm can earn up to a super normal profit or super profit. So that is one of the characteristics and features of a oligopoly market. The third one is non-price competition. Non-price competition. Firms try to avoid the price competition because when it comes to price, no, they will be trying to avoid the price competition due to the fear of price wars in oligopoly, and it's depend on the non-price methods like advertising, after-sale service, warranties. So these advertising, after-sale services, and warranties are what you say for other industries has no how the products can be. They can concentrate more on this advertising, after-sale service, and warranties for their competition. So here the competition is not with the price. The competition is with how good they serve to the people once after sales. Okay, how innovative a type of a message that can reach the audience, that is like advertising and providing warranties. So in these areas they will concentrate more as a competitive area instead of avoiding the price competition because of price wars. That we will discuss later why there is no price competition. They are competing with the after sales this thing. So this ensures that the firms can influence the demand and build brand recognition. This non-price competition, as I mentioned, no, they are going for after sale service and advertising, concentrating more on that for competition instead of price, because this will build a brand recognition and that will influence in the demand of the product. So because the total market rely on the demand. And the fourth is interdependence. This is one of the major characters. Under oligopoly, since a few firms hold a significant share in the total output, for example, if you take a DTH service provider, no, if there are if you list out some 10 service providers, Airtel, Videocon, Tata Sky, Sun Direct, and DTH, okay, some 10 service providers, no, a few firms. It varies geographically. The South India, some few firms hold a significant share in the total output of the industry, and each firm is affected by the price and output decisions of the rival firms. Here, the major competition is between the Sun Direct and Tata Sky. And Reliance is also there. If you go to some northern part of India, the significant share of Sun Direct they won't be there in the total output of the industry. So there is a lot of interdependence among the firms in oligopoly. If a firm takes into account the action and reaction of competing firms for determining its price and output levels. So why this interdependence is, one, if you want to fix a price and the total output level for output for your product, that means number of subscribers or number of what do you say, yeah, subscribers for any DTH service providing. So the level, if you want to increase the level and how to fix the price, definitely depend on the rival firm. So that is one of the beauty or the characteristics of this particular market, that is interdependence. Always you have to depend on the major rival firm, how they are fixing the price. Accordingly you have to fix your price. And the fifth one is the nature of the product. What is the nature of the product in this oligopoly market? Under oligopoly, the products of the firms are either homogeneous or differentiated. Okay, as I said, no, they're providing this firm means the industry like the DTS service providers. Mostly all these service providers provide a homogeneous product because they're delivering, they're taking the content from the some broadcast houses, some broadcast channels. Some differentiated means that combo, that combination of packages. Okay, and the sixth characteristics of oligopoly is, since this firm is avoiding the price competition, there is a huge interdependence among firms. Selling costs are highly important for competing against rival firms because the selling cost matters. And the seventh is the no unique pattern of pricing behavior, because the first wants to act in, if any firm wants to act independently and earn maximum profits on one hand, no, and it has to cooperate with the rivals to remove uncertainty on the other hand, because independently any firm can't act in this oligopoly market. So depending on their motive situations, no, they can have a collaborative or collusive or understanding type of works deal, and they can work for that. That's why there is no any unique pattern of pricing behavior. Predicting the pattern of pricing behavior among these firms is impossible. That's why every now and then the pricing pattern changes with the different media firms. The firms can compete or collude with other firms, which can lead to different pricing situations. So because that is why it is very important area in media management to fix or to determine the price and the total output. Okay, so in oligopoly market, since this market has a characteristics of a interdependent non-pricing competition, and this thing, no, there won't be any unique pattern of pricing behavior. It is impossible to have a unique pattern of pricing behavior. That's why it keeps on changing, and this will lead to the indeterminateness of the demand curve. So as the economic students know, the ultimate aim of the market is to, for any firm, is to create a demand curve, create a demand. Okay, so here every firm has its demand, supply, which matches the supply and demand. So that we will technically discuss later if time permits in the later classes. What is demand curve and what is the revenue, what is average revenue, marginal revenue, and how this marginal revenue and average revenue will tell you the demand will determine the demand curve. Here in oligopoly market, unlike other market structures, it is not possible to determine the demand curve of a firm. What is our demand? They can't determine. So this is because one hand there is a huge interdependent among the rivals, the competitors. On the other hand, there is uncertainty regarding the reaction, because if you increase the price, no, definitely you will be in loss. If you decrease the price, no, the people are waiting. The other firm or your competitor is waiting and to reduce his price. So these rivals can react in different ways when a firm changes its price, and that makes the demand curve indeterminate. We can't determine the demand curve in this oligopoly market. I think you are clear with the characteristics. These are the few characteristics of oligopoly market. So few firms, barriers to entry, non-price competition, interdependence, nature of the product is homogeneous, selling cost can be determined, cannot be determined because of non-price competitions and interdependence, and no unique pattern of pricing behavior because of these the above said factors. And all these results in the major characteristics of it is indeterminate to fix up the demand curve of any firm. So after this, we will see how this oligopoly market firms behavior. How these firms behave in the oligopoly market based on the objective of the firm, and the barriers to entry. As I said, no, barriers are the government nature of government regulations, getting licenses, patterns, and various regulations policies. There are different possible outcomes in relation to firms behavior. These are stable prices, price wars, collusion for higher prices. As I said, no, any firm can collude each other because competition, we can't act independently. They can go for collusion and price wars and stable prices. These are the major behavior of any market that works under this oligopoly structure. Collusive oligopoly is a market situation wherein the firm cooperate with each other in determining the price. So they will be having a system or a pattern, as you said in the broadcast, TROI, TROI, Telecom Regulation Authority of India, where they can collude, they can work towards and for fixing up the price. Okay, not to determine the price. A non-collusive oligopoly refers a market situation where the firms compete with each other. So collusive and non-collusive for a environment for any market is important. So non-collusive oligopoly is determined by the Sweezy kinked demand curve. So what is this kinked demand curve, that we will discuss very detailed in the next class. Okay, so now I will give you just an introduction about the kinked demand curve. Why this species, oligopoly species, kinked demand curve is because of the price rigidity. So this price is not flexible, and it cannot be a unique pattern of pricing behavior can be fixed up for this oligopoly market. So there are many price rigidity. So in 1939, Paul Sweezy used an unconventional demand curve. So that is what they call it as the kinked demand curve to explain these price rigidities. So it is assume why this kink demand curve? Why this? Just a minute. Why this kinked demand curve? The reason for this kinked demand curve that we will discuss today, and the detailed kinked demand curve that we will discuss in the next class. It is assumed that firms behave in a twofold manner, that is reacting to a price change by a rival or competing firm. If you want to say it in a simple words, firms follow price cuts by a rival company but not price increases. If your competitor decreases some price, then it influences your price determination. If your competitor increases the price, you're not going to, it is not going to influence you. So if a seller increases the price of his product, his competitor do not follow the price increase. Therefore, the market share of the firm reduces significantly as a result of the price rise that has been raised by the particular firm. On the other hand, if a seller reduces the price of his product, then the competitor also reduces their price to bring it at par with the price reduction of the firm. So this ensures that they prevent their market share from falling. Why they are following interdependent on some policy matters and price determination with the other firm is because they should not fall from their market share. As I said, no, one of the major characteristics of oligopoly is every firm, some of the few firms have a significant portion on the total output of the industry, a firm. So once the rival reacts, the firm lowering the price first cannot gain from the price cut. So if any competitor firm reduces the price, that influences the price determination of the firm. And if they increase, that won't be followed. They will be losing the customers and the sellers. So any unique pattern is difficult. I think are you clear? That's it for today. I hope you clear about what is oligopoly and what is oligopoly market, what is oligopoly market structure, meaning and definition of our oligopoly, and what are the characteristics of oligopoly market and the concept of oligopoly. And I have just given an introduction about kinked demand curve, why that has to be, and we will discuss about kinked demand curve in detail in the next class. Students, don't forget to